Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we are once again putting on our industry analyst hat and taking a look at Microsoft Fabric and the overall industry in which it exists. Right. In our last video in this series, we kind of covered it, is Microsoft making any money on Fabric? So this time I wanted to kind of dial it back and kind of take a look at it from the 20,000 foot view and kind of show that whether Microsoft Fabric is making any money or not, it's not, isn't necessarily the point as far as Microsoft is concerned. And so I wanted to show why that is. So that's what we're doing today. So when you look at this market overall, right, you really have three main players, right? You have Databricks that own pretty much is dominant in the data engineering space, right? So taking the data and data engineering and transforming it and all that sort of stuff from source systems, right? And then Snowflake kind of owns, it's dominant in the warehousing space, right? So you're landing the data into a data warehouse. And then Microsoft kind of owns the last mile, and they have for a long time, right? Power BI kind of solidified that. Before Power BI, they kind of owned that last mile with Excel and with SSRS primarily. And that matters more than you think in terms of Excel. That's a future video, but but Microsoft pretty much then Power BI really kind of solidified that domination of that last mile. It's people's interface into BI and analytics tends to be Microsoft, right? In that space, they own probably about 30% of the market, roughly. Um, Even though that when you say that the Power BI is 30% of the market, nobody counts Excel in that, right? They only count modern, BI analytics platforms. If you include Excel, Excel probably owns like 70% of the market. Yeah, Power BI owns like 15, and they're pretty much everybody else other than Tableau is kind of scraps, right? But that's not how people like analyze that market today, even though again, matters more than you think, but that's a subject for another video. So, what Microsoft is trying to do is they're trying to leverage their dominance in the reporting and distribution space with Power BI, right? And then work down the stack, right? Become good enough at warehousing and good enough at data engineering that the lazy folks out there just be like, we'll just have, it's all good enough. It's like this has been a key Microsoft ploy for a long, long time. Just get good enough, right? You saw it with like Novell, for example. Once the Microsoft networking was good enough at file sharing, good enough at directories, right? Because Microsoft Exchange was so dominant, right? Then it just kind of took over, right? Well, we need Windows NT servers to run our Exchange servers, so it's good enough at file sharing and good enough at print sharing, and it's good enough at directories. So screw it, we'll just go with all Microsoft, right? This is a classic play by Microsoft. So they're trying to do the same thing with Fabric, right? That's why Fabric exists, and why they kind of bolted it on to the Power BI interface, right? That's the entire play here, that Microsoft is trying to accomplish, right? They're trying to leverage their dominance here and work down the stack with Microsoft Fabric to become good enough at these that, you know, it just becomes a de facto, well, yeah, we already own it, we'll just use it, right? Now, at the same time, right, Snowflake and Databricks, they're not stupid, right? They're trying to work up the stack. They're trying to work up the stack where they're introducing reporting and analytics and that sort of thing into their tools, to try to basically say, well, you don't, if you're using us for warehousing, you can use us for data engineering and you can use us for reporting distribution, right? They're all trying to own this overall space that you see here, right? Now, Microsoft, right, they'll tell you that they are winning this, right? We got 21,000 customers using Fabric, and it's the fastest growing data platform in history. Microsoft, even though we all know that that's a lie, right? They just rebranded Power BI Premium to Fabric. They moved everybody's key. They forced migrated people, from Power BI Premium to Fabric, right? So I got this breakdown here, this is my best guess as far as, you know, probably 60 to 75% of Fabric users are really just Power BI users. It may even be higher than this, but I'm trying to be generous. Um, right? They're only using Fabric for Power BI, and they're not using anything else as far as the Fabric workloads that exist, right? Then I think there's probably maybe 20 to 30% that are light experimental users, right? Maybe they do have Power BI and they're kicking the tires on Fabric, or you know, they're looking at this Fabric thing and saying, well, it looks interesting, we'll kick the tires on it, right? And I think a very low percentage are actual competition right now in the warehousing and data engineering space to Snowflake and Databricks, maybe 5 to 15%. I think that 15% is probably high. But again, trying to be generous, right? That they, this is what, maybe they're not replacing Snowflake or Databricks, right? They're not taking their Snowflake and Databricks workloads and replacing them in the Fabric, but it's in lieu of, right? So they're, hey, for this next project that we're going to do, instead of using Databricks or instead of using Snowflake, we're going to kick the tires on or use Fabric for this, right? So that's the way I see the industry right now. Of course, you have other players in this, like Google BigQuery, right? Redshift, all of those kind of things. You have the legacy platforms like Teradata, stuff like that. But this, I think, this kind of summarizes the next 5 years, the battle that will occur, that's going to occur, and is occurring, right? And I think it's going to take 5 years to really resolve this. Now, the other thing that you have to throw in this mix, right, is, of course, artificial intelligence, right? And artificial intelligence is not just an existential threat to Microsoft. It's a very real threat to Microsoft, right? Because if you think about how Power BI and Tableau became dominant in this space, it was really through the business users, the ad hoc users, right? It became their interface, the way that they deal with data analytics outside of Excel, if you will, right? And then they worked their way into IT teams and governance and all of that sort of stuff, right? So artificial intelligence is today already taking over some of that, right? There are people that are loading up a CSV file, exporting a CSV file out of the warehouse, loading it up into ChatGPT or something else or Claude, and then saying, give me the analysis on this, or hey, why was there a spike like 3 months ago? That sort of, answering those kind of ad hoc questions that they really used to do in Excel. That's another video, right? But it's a very real threat, and people that are dismissing it, they're crazy, right? I mean, Microsoft knew it. You just have to look at the timing between ChatGPT releasing on November 22, 2022, and Fabric being announced on May 23rd. Microsoft knows that AI is a threat to this. And so Fabric, right, they failed with parallel data warehouse because they've tried to move down the stack before with parallel data warehouse, fail, Azure SQL data warehouse, fail, Synapse, largely a fail, right? So Microsoft knew that this was their last best chance to use their dominance in reporting and distribution to move down the stack, and that is Microsoft Fabric. And that's why Fabric exists, right? Now, this artificial intelligence taking over and squeezing Microsoft as far as it becoming the reporting and distribution interface, that is a subject for a much longer, more detailed video that I have in the works. But for now, that's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.